Hello, welcome to GP Podcast. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of the key architects of our AI-driven world. He's a figure whose decisions are quietly but profoundly shaping the very fabric of our future. His story, from a kid obsessed with computers to a global force in artificial intelligence, is one of incredible strategy, influence, and just massive ambition.
So, that's the big question, isn't it? How did one person become so absolutely central to the future of technology? How did he go from just tinkering with code in his bedroom to steering the entire trajectory of AI? Well, that's the journey we're about to unpack.
To really get it, we're going to trace his path through 5 key stages. First, we'll start with his origins as a young prodigy. Then, we'll look at the critical lessons he learned from, believe it or not, failure. After that, we'll see how he became a kingmaker at Y Combinator, and then how he architected the AI giant OpenAI. And finally, we'll pull it all together into what we can call the Altman playbook. All right, so our story kicks off not in Silicon Valley, but in St. Louis, Missouri. And this isn't just about a kid who liked computers. No, this is about the forging of a uniquely strategic mind, right from the very beginning. From a really young age, Sam was just completely captivated. He wasn't just playing games, He was teaching himself how to program, already kicking around business ideas while he was still in high school. So by the time he got to Stanford in 2003, it was pretty clear this wasn't just about getting a degree. It was his launchpad, straight into the heart of the tech universe. But success in Silicon Valley is almost never a straight line. It's usually forged in the fires of failure. For Altman, his first big venture? Well, it wasn't the home run you might expect. Instead, it was a masterclass in what not to do. So back in 2005, he co-founded Looped, which was a location-sharing app. After years of grinding, it was acquired for $43.4 million. Now that sounds like a massive success, right? But in the high-stakes game of venture capital, it was actually a pretty modest outcome. The real prize, though, was the priceless education it gave him. Through that whole experience, he learned these invaluable lessons about market timing and the just brutal realities of startup life. But he didn't see it as a loss. He saw it as an analytical opportunity. See, for him, failure wasn't the opposite of success. It was just data, pure and simple, that he could use to inform his next big move. So armed with all these lessons, Altman stepped into a role where his influence would just start to scale massively. He became the president of Y Combinator, pretty much the most powerful startup accelerator in the world. And get this, he was only 29 when he took the helm. He went on to help fund a whole generation of companies that literally changed the world. We're talking household names like Airbnb, Stripe, Dropbox, and Reddit. His knack for spotting talent and potential was just uncanny. But his real genius wasn't just in writing checks. He completely transformed Y Combinator from a simple accelerator into a true ecosystem. He focused on building this community with intense mentorship and guidance, creating this perfect breeding ground where innovation could just thrive long after the first check was cashed. And that brings us to his most ambitious project to date. In 2015, Altman co-founded OpenAI with a mission that was just audacious: to make sure that artificial intelligence benefits all of humanity. No small goal, right? His strategy for this was really methodical, built on 3 main pillars. First, you got to get the best minds in the world together to push the absolute boundaries of AI research. Second, you have to turn that research into practical, scalable models, like the GPT series. And third, you have to forge these powerful partnerships to get the massive resources you need to lead the industry. So when you look at his entire career, from the beginning up to now, a pretty clear set of principles starts to pop out. This is what we can call the Altman playbook. At the very heart of his playbook is this idea of compound impact. He is not interested in short-term wins. He focuses on projects and people that are going to create exponential value and influence over the long haul, multiplying their impact for years and years to come. This playbook is really built on a few core ideas. He invests in resilient people more than just flashy ideas. He treats failure as crucial data so he can learn and iterate faster. He's an absolute master at leveraging the power of the networks he's built. And maybe most importantly, he maintains this disciplined focus on the few things that are going to get the biggest results. Which really just leaves us with this one final and pretty profound question. Sam Altman is no longer just a tech entrepreneur. He is an architect of the future. As AI gets more and more integrated into our daily lives, his vision, his strategies, his decisions, they're going to have consequences for all of us.
If you like this explainer, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and maybe comment on what you found most interesting. And of course, sharing it always helps the channel out.
Thanks for watching.